Hi, you guys. Samara Riviera here. I'm outside the Leslie-Lohman Gallery in New York City for one of the Fresh Fruit Festival events, and it's the Strike a Pose art gallery with a lot of transgender artists, transgender art. And we're going to have a lot of interviews with Musto, Lady Clover Honey, Runyon, and many other people. And you're going to see the footage and everything. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And let's do our interviews first, and then we'll walk in and check out the art. Hi, guys. Samara Riviera here. I'm outside. Well, you guys know where I'm at. The Fresh Fruit Festival, you know, art. I'm here with Musto. New York City personality. How you doing today, Michael?
Oh, great. I love this show because I always felt drag queens are works of art anyway, so they deserve to be translated into actual works of art on a wall of a gallery.
Absolutely. Couldn't said it better myself. Now tell us, what did you see in there? What caught your eye? You know, what artists or what paintings?
There are some beautiful portraits of the drag queens. There's one of Joey Arias that I wanted to steal. It's that good. But I would give it to Joey, don't worry. And there are other conceptual pieces, like there's one of Clover Honey, the drag queen that curated the whole show, as a man and a woman in the same frame. And I like that juxtaposition of gender. That really captures what the whole show was about.
Now, you know Lady Clover. Tell us about her. What do you think makes her fabulous? She's one of our friends here.
She's a fun gal, and she has a kind of old style, old world glamour. You know, she wears like big jewelry, big rings, big pop bead necklaces, and colorful prints. She doesn't fade into the woodwork. We don't like a drag queen that's boring, and she's not.
Right. Now, what about you? When do you dress, or have you ever dressed? Tell us about that. Drag. Michael Musto drag. Do you have any drag names?
I have a million drag names. Oh, God, I used to have so many of them. Dora, Jar, but you know what? I first did drag on Halloween years ago, and I told all my friends, wait till you see me, wait till you see me. They almost vomited. I looked horrible. And then I did drag in a Cyndi Lauper video for a remix of Girls Want to Have Fun. I showed up in a house dress looking like I rolled out of bed. It was horrible. Jerry Mitchell, the director, was like, we have to change his dress and redo the makeup and everything. I still looked hideous. I could stop a truck. I'll leave it to the professionals.
Oh, my God. Now, speaking of the professionals, who are some of your favorite performers, drag performers?
You.
Oh, thank you.
And, you know, I go to Barracuda a lot, and on different nights there they have Peppermint, who's fantastic, Shasta Cola, who's brilliant, Sherry Vine, Shaquita, and in other clubs you see people like Epiphany, Mimi I'm First, Bianca Del Rio. There's a whole new crop coming up to join the older girls like Sweetie and Lady Bunny. So there's a whole diversity. There's stand-up comics, there's singers, there's lip syncers. Drag queens are like the court jesters. They're the clowns of the nightlife scene. They're the ones who light up the room and make it entertaining. When I see a drag queen walk in the room, I'm like, yay, it's going to be a party.
Fabulous. Now tell us, what else is going on? Do you have any gossip for us? Oh. New York City gossip, Madonna era, what's going on? Any gossip?
Well, speaking of drag queens, I'm reading the book about Madonna by her brother.
Tell us.
You know what? The most damaging thing about the book is Madonna's picture on the cover. It's a very unflattering photograph. She should sue just for that. The rest of it isn't that bad.
What about, do you think Madonna is sneaking away with A-Rod or what?
Whether she is or isn't, it's the best thing that's happened to her in years. All the gossip, because she's on the front pages, everyone's talking about her private life, and apparently she's loving all the buzzing about her.
Well, she's promoting her tour, right?
It's helping her tour. Even the Brothers book is going to help her tour. So I say we should stop talking about her.
Okay, let's stop talking about it. Okay, so now anything else you want to say? How do you feel about like gender expression? What's your definition of gender expression?
I feel that gender is just what you're born with. You look down, you see the genitals, and you're like, okay, this is what I'm stuck with, but then it's a matter of what you're going to do with it. You might find there's more to the story. It's a bigger picture than just what's lurking between your legs. Gender is what you feel, what's inside of you, not what's just on you. And a lot of people find that just being called man or woman is not enough, and they experiment, and those are the people I admire. Those are the people on the edge. You don't find a lot of boring tourists from Iowa walking around in drag. It's only the cool New York people that are living that way, and those are the people I'm attracted to.
Famous last words, Mr. Michael Musto. Thank you so much for everything, for your time and your patience. Mwah. arbitrary address here in Soho, Worcester and Grand Street, New York City. I'm here with Scott Runyon. Scott, tell us, what's your job here at Leslie-Lohman Art Gallery?
I'm the Director of Development and Communications for the Foundation.
Okay, now, I want to thank you for having this event, the Transgender Art Gallery show. It's Strike a Pose with Lady Clover Honey. Now tell us, how was it that you guys decided to have this event here?
Well, this show is part of the Fresh Fruit Festival, and this is actually the second time we've hosted an art show. In 2006, we also offered this space for another show, and basically the Fresh Fruit Festival is just a very like-minded organization to the Leslie-Lohman Gallery, and we're happy to provide the space when we don't have shows up at the time.
Now, the rest of the year, what goes on here? What other type of shows do you guys have?
Well, we've got 5 shows a year, all focused on gay, lesbian, bi, transgender art. And for example, last year we had an entire show called Stage Struck, which was theater design done by gay artists. We've also got erotic, political work. It's basically just across the board.
Now tell us, today's show is about gender expression and, transgender. What's gender expression for you? Gender expression. What does that mean to you?
I'm not 100% sure. For me, it basically means just being able to put what you want on the wall and not sort of boxing yourself into A or B. And that's what's great about Leslie-Lohman, is that we give a space to people who don't necessarily fit into category of male or female.
Now, you saw some of the art, obviously. What stands out in your mind today of artists or art?
Well, all the art is great. I think my favorite pieces, and unfortunately I don't remember the artist's name, but are 5 shots of drag queens with themselves, both in costume and out of costume. And one guy is doing his own hair, and I think those pieces are great.
Now, we work with Ryan and Lady Clover Honey. What did you think of their art, their photography, their artwork?
It's terrific, and we're, again, glad to show it. We've got a great crowd here. Hundreds of people have come through this evening, and we're thrilled to have them here.
Okay, well, thank you so much for giving us the time.
Welcome.
And let's go inside. Let's go look for Pauline. And let's go.
Right.
Okay, guys, we found her, Pauline Park. And thank you for giving us the time, Pauline. We're here live.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, this is Pauline Park. She's a very important person in the transgender community. You have PhD. What else? You are an activist. Tell us about, what you've done recently.
Well, in 2002, the New York City Council enacted Local Law 3 of 2002, which is the Transgender Rights Law, which protects transgendered and gender-variant people from discrimination in the city of New York. And my organization, NYAGRA, led the campaign for that legislation.
Wow, fabulous. Thank you so much, by the way. I mean, in case, we haven't had a chance to thank you, me from the transgender community, I want to thank you. So now tell us, your artwork, you're not an artist, you're not here in any of the pictures, but what brought you out tonight to the Strike a Pose Art Gallery show?
A friend of mine sent me an invitation to the exhibition. I actually had no idea, but I was delighted to discover when I arrived that 3 of the artists here exhibiting are actually friends of mine, and several of the people in the photos and the paintings are also friends of mine. I actually didn't know that before I came. I came out really to support the exhibition, and I think it's absolutely wonderful that the Leslie-Lohman Gallery is having an exhibition on gender and transgender related art.
Now tell us, who are your friends so we can give them a shout out?
Okay, well, I have 3 friends who are exhibiting. Keisha Lorraine, Luke Georges, and Zen Brown. And I have several friends who are actually depicted in their work, including Lady Clover Honey, who is the curator of the show. She's the one who sent me the invitation.
Now tell us, you saw all the art and the pictures. What stands out in your mind of tonight's show?
I would say 2 or 3 things. The photos of the radical fairies that both Keisha Lorraine and Luke Georges put on display. And I would say also the really large canvases that Zen Brown did. I think what they do is explore issues of gender identity and gender expression in a way that's very sensitive to the subjects and from an understanding that arises out of the community that includes all of us. I think it's really important that the transgender community, just like every other community, generate its own art. We have to create our own art and put that art on display in galleries such as the Leslie-Lohman Gallery, which is very much a part of the LGBT community. Art can be really important and really a powerful medium or set of media for communicating the truths of our lives.
Now, are you normally into art? I mean, are you an art collector or anything? Or who are your favorite artists?
Well, I actually love art. This is something that I don't actually have a chance to talk about because people always call me to speak on transgender issues, which is, of course, what I do. I do trainings and workshops all the time and have speaking engagements. But I actually love art. I'll just throw out a few of my favorite artists. Jan van Eyck, Peter Bruegel the Elder, Antoine Watteau, Vasily Kandinsky. Those are a few of my favorite artists.
Now, what is it about art that gets you, that excites you, or that, you know, that sort of gets your attention? What things about art do that for you?
Art, I think, articulates the truths of the world as it is and also as we would like it to be in a way that other forms of expression may not necessarily be able to communicate. Art reveals the deeper layers of truth beneath the surface reality that we all see.
Yeah, that's very deep. I totally understand what you mean. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to say? Are there any websites for your activist work or anything like that that we want to know about?
Sure. You can actually find out more about my organization. I chair NYAGRA, the New York Association for Gender Rights Advocacy, at NYAGRA.com, NYAGRA.com. You can find out more about me and my work at paulinepark.com. And I might add, by the way, I do have a connection with MTV, should I mention that, which is that I blog for visiblevote08.com, which is a project of Logo, which is the project of Logo TV, which is part of the MTV family. So I actually blog every day on visiblevote08.com about the upcoming presidential and congressional elections from an LGBT community perspective.
Wow, thank you so much. So make sure you guys check it out, paulinepark.com, right? And thank you so much. Let's go enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Samara.
Okay, guys, we just saw your artwork, your photography, Ryan Wolowski, at your Soho gallery debut. Tell us how you feel, Ryan.
You know, to have photographs shown in Soho is amazing because as a New Yorker, I walk gallery walk, and it's amazing to go into a gallery and see friends like yourself, Lady Clover Honey, a dear co-worker, Nicholas L. Corey, has work on the wall. And to be a part of it, you know what, Samara, it's surreal because this is an event that I would be at. And to see my stuff on the wall, it's just like, it's hard to realize that I'm a part of something this big, and I guess it'll sink in tomorrow.
Well, you do everything. You're a photographer, you're a director, producer, reporter, everything. Like, what is it that you want to concentrate on more than anything else?
Well, right now my show is called Trans Celebrity, and I photograph people like Dana International from Israel, people like Boy George, Pete Burns, who did, you know, drag and cross gender lines in a way that you could be sitting at home having pizza with your family and say, Mom, is that a boy or a girl? And mom or dad, if they're intelligent, can say to you, well, what do you think? And you could really think for yourself, because gender doesn't need to be explained. And this is a very fluid event, and this is something I feel very passionate about. Yeah, I work in film and television, but this is an opportunity where I get to just talk about the people I look up to when I question gender, which are people like yourself, people like Dana International from Israel, Pete Burns from Dead or Alive, Boy George, Lady Bunny, founder of Wigstock. I mean, just like if you could, I'm going to take a social studies class. I want to learn about gender. Go to Tompkins Square Park, Wigstock. And these are some of the pictures that I have up, you know, and it almost feels like I'm the little guy. And I want to go in and look and see how people are responding to gender, because this is an avenue where we can learn what people are comfortable with and uncomfortable with. And when we know what they're uncomfortable with, then we know where to educate them.
Now, speaking of gender and, you know, all this transgender, what is gender expression for you?
You know, gender expression for me is like waves. It's very fluid. And if you just ride the raft, you know, you can be comfortable over here, and maybe there'll be a bounce, but you'll be comfortable over there. But if you take the rigid explanation of what gender means, you're either going to not be able to express yourself in life or just be running up against a brick wall. So I invite everyone, inflate your raft and just float on the water.
Okay, now tell us about your pictures. You know, what was it that made you choose these 6? You have 6 pictures, right?
Six
what
photos.
was it that I'm sure you have many, hundreds of pictures of transgender, trans-expressive people. What was it about these 6 photos that made you choose them?
Well, the great thing about having taken these photographs is I call myself a nowist. I didn't ask Dana International, can you pose for me, beautiful woman? This is something she was doing right now. And as a nowist, I'm telling people, get out of the house. Hang out with these people. This is not a retrospective. This is a wake-up call. Get out of the house. Meet someone like Dana International. Meet someone like yourself. Meet someone like Pete Burns. This is not an art show. This is a news headline. Get out of the house.
Well, yeah, we're in New York City. There's so much going on, so many people out here. I mean, like, every time I go out, it's like you have the opportunity to meet so many different people. You know, how is that for you? Meeting all these different people every day, you know?
It makes you feel small, because if you see someone like Amanda Lepore, the #1 transsexual in the world, it's just like, okay, I've got loud pants or a loud tie, but she's the #1 transsexual in the world. That's inspiring.
Now, what pieces stand out in your mind tonight?
You know, the living installations, to me as a nowist, to see people in the Leslie-Lohman Gallery, whether they're dressed up or not, talking to each other, saying, oh, gender, so what? I think that is the most beautiful thing. And, you know, the works on the wall, those are just 4 walls. Those are things that brought us together. No disrespect to the hours that everyone worked, but the real art is the fact that people are leaving educated and comfortable and free about saying, oh, gender, whatever, what's the next topic? I saw that already. That's the beautiful thing.
Now, what do you want to tell the people out there, you know, about art and, you know, expression and gender and all that?
Well, you know, I think art happens wherever you make it, and I think you are living art. And I heard that there are singers here. I heard that there are people here who don't even have photographs on the wall that came out. To me, as a nowist, that is the art. You know, I have the photographs on the wall, but who's inside? That's happening now. And as a nowist, I say, Samara, I adore talking with you, but let's go be nowist and go now inside, or bring someone now outside and find out what's happening right now in Soho.
Well, actually, we have a singer, Magal. He's going to be singing for us, and then afterwards going to have Lady Clover Honey.
I love Lady Clover Honey. And can I hang out in the background and watch her interview?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go find her.
Now.
Well, let's get the singer first.
Samara, free hug.
Okay, we're back, and we're here with Magal, who says he's an artist and a singer, a drummer. Tell us, Magal, about your music.
My music is neo-baroque. It's a beautiful combination of baroque music with pop, which can get through all ears of the world, all ages of the world, and it combines sexuality within the passion and the image, our image of the band. We have our own costumes that's made especially for us. And we only perform and look like no one else ever did these looks. We have 20 dancers in our shows, and we have a string quartet in our shows. Everything is really, really different and very deep and very romantic.
Okay, now you're an artist as well. What type of art do you do?
I'm painting. I'm teaching drums. I'm singing opera for 7 years. I've been a bass, then a baritone, and then now I'm a tenor. I decided to go tenor because we can reach clearly to the high notes of even of a girl and express all the emotions from all the range, from bass to tenor. So everyone can listen to it and everyone can feel with it.
Now, as an artist, what inspires you? I mean, you're a well-rounded artist, but what inspires you to do, like, you know, each type of different work that you do?
Desire, my desire to hear something new, something that I never saw before, I never heard before, and is shocking in a good way. No, it's very hard to bring something that is original but very beautiful at the same time. It's easy to be original and put something new to the world, but then to make it something really, really beautiful, it's completely different. And it's a hard work, but it's worth it.
Now, are you going to do a little song for us to show the people out there, you know, how it is that your music is?
Yes, it will be a pleasure for me. It's going to be from a song that I wrote, and it's also from my book. I'm also a poet, I didn't say that. And it's called Heavenly Tragedy.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. Follow, little hands of angels, follow, little ways of life, from all the autumn trees.
Wow, fabulous. Thank you for that. Mwah. Now tell us, you know, we're here at the Strike a Pose, obviously the art gallery. What is gender expression for you?
Gender expression is beauty, it's freedom, and it's glam, mostly. The way I see it, I think the people that takes their gender one step up, I think is being more glamorous and more out to the world in the most beautiful, shocking way.
Okay, you guys, I'm here with the fabulous, the gorgeous Miss Lady Clover Honey, who's the curator behind Fresh Fruit Festival and tonight's gallery show, Strike a Pose. Tell us.
Well, when you're a drag correspondent when you're a drag when you're a drag queen personality and correspondent on a national TV series, you run into so many different people who use drag as an art form and transgender and gender in general as an art form. The way a person visually expresses themselves is limited by the gender that they were assigned to them at birth, but this show is about people who cross the boundaries. They break down the boundaries and they express themselves however they want to. If you were born a man, you could still be fabulous. If you're born a woman, you could still be strong. You could change your gender, express your gender however you want, and that's what the show is all about.
Now tell us about your artwork, your pieces.
Well, actually, I did a lot of the modeling for the different photographers there. There's a beautiful one with archaic, iconic religious framing. And then I did one, there's a lot of talk about me as a boy and as a girl, because I live as two different gender expressions at parties, and I prefer the female gender expression, but I sometimes express myself like a man, like a guy, and I have my genitalia hanging down. And so there's a photo of me with both, and a lot of people are very surprised to even see, even though people know that I was born a man, they're so very surprised to see me as a man, a lot of the people.
Yes, a lot of people actually were commenting on that picture with Lady Clover as a woman and as a man. Now, what are some of your favorite pieces in here? I know it's hard to, pick one, but what stands out in your mind of the pieces tonight?
Well, there's a great candid shot, because it's hard to get candid shots. And I'm always posing anyway, but there's a great candid shot of me and Fran Jolie that was taken by Nicholas. And that's a really great one. I like that one because it was spontaneous, it was fun, and it was a surprise when Fran Jolie jumped off the stage into right next to me, and Nick just grabbed the camera and took a picture of it. I think it was Ryan's camera too, so because Ryan was busy videotaping. So that was a lot of fun. Then we were shocked to see how the photo came out. We have that hanging up on the wall as well.
Now tell us about the Fresh Fruit Festival. What is all that about here in New York City?
It's the most inclusive, most diverse festival in New York City. It celebrates lesbian, gay, bi, and trans expression in arts and their value to the culture at large. It's probably one of the biggest transgender and drag celebratory festivals that there are in the world. There's a lot of drag. We had drag video art as well, and a couple of drag plays at the festival.
Well, personally, I want to thank you because you're one of the artists and personalities here in New York City who's always bringing out transgender, the transgender community. How is that for you? I mean, always being the one that's, trying to bring the transgender community out in showing.
Yeah, I always want to make transgender and gender expression a more acceptable form. I think people should accept whoever gender you want to express yourself or live as or change. So I'm always pushing that. I let people know, and I'm doing that at comedy clubs too. A lot of straight, like, oh, we don't want a drag queen. This is stand-up comedy, and I'm like, no. And then I make them do me at comedy nights as well, and even in mainstream movies. And actually, what I find is honestly is that the mainstream seems to enjoy drag performance a lot more than the gay. Especially like the gay men performance. I was wondering why that is. Maybe the novelty. It's been seen so many times by gay men, but the straight people really enjoy it. It's very accepting. You might think, oh, they're not going to like that, but they seem to like it very much, and it's really cool. So people, especially if you know how to use your feminine charm, no matter what gender you were born as, you can use your feminine charm, and people really like that. I think people like femininity.
Now, I have to say, you had a very successful art gallery opening tonight. A lot of people were here. Tell us who were some of the people that came out tonight.
Well, Michael Musto from the Village Voice. The Village Voice also sent a photographer there. There was Dr. Joe E. Jeffries, the drag historian, was there. Drag personalities Epiphany and Sherry Vine. And, of course, the wonderful, gorgeous Janek Wolowski was there. And, of course, you. Pauline Park, the president of the New York Association for Gender Rights Advocacy, was there. There was someone, I hate to leave anyone out because I know there was a lot of great people there. Oh, the great Mark Schulte was there, the great columnist Mark Schulte was there. And the people from the festival were all there to lend their support. Oh, and also the director of the Staten Island Pride Festival was there.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. And I don't know, is there an after party? Let's go party, Miss Lady
Sure.
Clover.
Oh, yeah, there's always an after party.
Let's go, girl.
Okay.
So, okay, guys, thank you so much for everything. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's it. Goodbye.